Hi, I'm Michael, and this is Carelifornia. And today, the Senate made their vote on their skinny stimulus package that had a pared-down cost of $500 billion. And the vote went actually better than most had expected, but it still failed to get enough overall votes to bypass a Democratic bloc. But despite it not passing, it may be not a total loss for the Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell. Also, as most private businesses abstain from participating in Trump's tax cut from his executive order, federal employers and the military have been forced to implement the tax cut, which is making a lot of lawmakers and federal employee unions nervous about their employees' taxes for next year. So tonight we're talking about the failed Senate skinny vote, how its failure may not be a total loss for Mitch McConnell, and the concerns federal employers and military have about being forced to participate in Trump's tax cuts executive order. Now, this is your 5-minute nightly dose. So let's make this quick. But before we do that, if you like this information, if you find it interesting, if you find it helpful, please don't forget to like and subscribe. That way you can get updates when our newest and most informative videos become available. Today, Thursday, the Senate was able to put a new Republican skinny $500 billion stimulus bill to a vote. This is the one that is supposed to be a response to the Democrats' $3 trillion HEREOS Act from earlier this year. After all the months of negotiating and backroom dealing, not surprisingly, it didn't get enough votes to push the bill through to the House. But sort of surprising was the fact that Mitch McConnell was actually able to rally his GOP senators, for the most part, to get them all to agree to the bill. When put to a vote today, it was 52 out of 53 Republican senators voted to pass the bill. The one Republican senator who voted against it was Rand Paul, along with the remaining 47 Democratic senators. At 52 votes, the bill still does not have the 60 necessary votes to overcome a Democratic bloc, which means that the bill is all but dead. But this doesn't mean it was a complete failure for the leader of the Republican majority, Mitch McConnell. So failure, like anything, is a matter of perspective. Of course, the bill is not going to make it through to the House, and realistically never had a snowball's chance of making it to a final vote. But in some sense, it's still a win for Mitch McConnell. First, because when the bill started, there was 20 GOP senators who were hard-nosed to the bill, or any sort of stimulus measure for that matter. But he has been able to bring 99.9% of them around to vote for the bill. Second, McConnell, as the leader of the GOP Senate, needed to provide some way for his Republican senators who are in serious danger of losing their seats in the Senate to Democratic rivals to show that they are trying to help their state's residents, but also walk a thin line of not actually adding any additional stimulus costs to the budget, which would throw off all the fiscal conservatives who support the party as a whole. And finally, it gives Senate Republicans a way to have a stimulus bill that, on face value, may do some good for Americans who are struggling, and better yet, then have Democratic senators vote against it, enabling a claim that Democrats are actually the ones playing politics and trying to stop any support from getting to the people. So, all that being said, I don't think all of us out here are foolish enough to believe this narrative, but it is the story that McConnell's going to weave, and it still puts Mitch in a stronger position than he started even with a failed bill. Unfortunately, the reality of a Republican-led stimulus bill passing before the election is starting to look very thin. After this bill died, more and more GOP senators are showing increased pessimism about another bill. On Twitter, Republican Senator Marco Rubio from Florida unabashedly said Congress is not going to pass another relief bill before the election. Republican Senator Pat Roberts from Kansas said relief efforts were a dead-end street. And Mitch McConnell himself said that with regards to another stimulus package, they, the Democrats, want to wait until after the election and play games with us. So this looks like it may be the last hurrah for a Republican-led stimulus package before the next election. Now finally tonight, this month's Trump executive order to provide tax cuts to put more money into the pockets of workers has been ratcheted up as the federal government and the military are being forced to pay out tax money to their workers. This is starkly different to the private industry, who so far has been hesitant to participate. The main reason for this is because the tax cuts are, at the moment, just tax deferrals until next year. This means that if Congress does not forgive the taxes that were paid out, the workers who got the pay bump in these last few months of the year will still have to pay it back when they file their taxes. And most employers do not want to be responsible for their employees getting higher tax bills when they file their taxes. But federal employers and the military do not have that discretion and have been ordered to not withhold the specific taxes from their employees. Both lawmakers and federal employee unions are concerned about what the effect of not withholding these taxes may have on their workers and have asked the Trump administration to make the tax deferral optional for federal employees and the military rather than mandatory. Now, this has been your 5-minute nightly dose, and I hope that you found it interesting or helpful or at least useful. And if you did, please don't forget to like and subscribe. That way you can get updates when our newest and most informative videos become available. Also, we here in Carelifornia, we know health insurance. So if you have any questions about your health insurance, leave those down below and we'll be happy to make a new video or a new post as soon as we can. Now, other than that, I'm Michael and this is Carelifornia, wishing you a happy, healthy day.